Alright, here's some problems we can work through. Say I've got x squared equals 16. I want to solve for x. Okay, so I'm going to solve for x. So remember, to undo a square, take the square root. Okay, so the square root of the square is just whatever we got here. And that would be equal to the square root of 16, which is plus or minus 4. Okay. This problem over here, I can do the same thing. Square root of both sides, right? So whatever I do to one side, I can automatically do to the other side. Or I have to in order to keep the balance. So the square root of the square is just what's inside, so that leaves me with x plus 1 equals the square root of 4, which is plus, very important, plus or minus 2. Okay? So I subtract 1, subtract 1. So I've got x equals plus or minus 2 minus 1. Well, now there's two possible answers here, right? So I'm going to deal with the first possible answer and say x1 equals, well, it could be a positive 2 minus 1. Well, positive 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay? I've got another possible answer. x2, which I'm going to call x2. So this is one answer, which is going to be, what if we're talking about negative 2 minus 1? x2 equals negative 3. There's my other possible answer. I could plug those back in to check to make sure that they work, and I'll find out if they do. Alright, so let's say I've got something a little more complex like this. Same thing, take the square root, both sides. Okay, this is going to leave me with x plus 4. Then over here, I've got something kind of complex. Got the square root of negative 8. So I'm going to rewrite that as 8 times negative 1. Okay? Well, I can rewrite that 8 there as well. I can rewrite that as 4 times 2, okay, times negative 1, which is the same as saying we have the square root of 4 times the square root of 2 times the square root of negative 1. Okay? Well, what's the square root of 4? Please say plus or minus 2. A lot of times people go, well, my calculator says it's just a 2. Your calculator lies. It's a liar. It wants to mess you up. And the square root of negative 1 would be an I. Okay, I'm not done solving for x, right? That was the whole purpose of all of this. Solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. I'm going to make a little bit more room for myself. Maybe I should have done this problem in 2 goes, but oh well. So x equals, well, I've got a negative 4 here, plus or minus 2 square root 2i. Well, I have myself a complex number. And in the complex number, you have a real component and you have the complex portion. But I'm going to keep it just like this, because these two things, even if I said make x1 deal with just the positive and x2 deal with the negative, I can't add these two together. They're not like terms. Number one, the negative 4 doesn't have a square root of 2 attached to it. So I can't really do anything with that. Number 2, it doesn't have an I component to it. So I can't do anything with that. So I'm done. This is my answer.